In this lesson, you will learn about label extraction. In Course 1, you built your chest X-ray classification model from labeled data. In this lesson, you will learn how you can automatically create those labels by extracting mentions of diseases from radiology reports. You've seen in Course 1 how an algorithm for recognizing diseases in chest X-ray images can be trained using yes or no labels for each disease. However, for any image, we haven't talked about how to get the corresponding labels for each image required to train this algorithm. One idea would be to have an expert radiologist annotate every image with its corresponding labels. However, this would be time and cost intensive, requiring radiologists to interpret each one of thousands of these images. An alternative to using the X-ray images would be to use the radiology reports to extract labels. When a doctor orders an imaging exam like an X-ray, a radiologist writes a report that includes their interpretation of the exam and highlights findings. The alternative to looking at images to get these labels is to annotate using this text from the radiology report. Here, for example, no diseases are mentioned to be present, so we can mark the label equal to 0 for all of the diseases. Of course, this is also a time-consuming task for a human annotator to do, although it's potentially faster than looking through all of the images again. One potential solution is to use a machine to read through these radiology reports to automatically perform this labeling. If there are labeled radiology report and label pairs, it is a supervised learning problem, and we can use machine learning approaches on the text to output the labels. An example of the model that can support this labeling would be BERT, which you've seen in the previous lesson. The challenge is when we don't have the thousands of report and label pairs required for supervised learning. We'll look at how we can still perform this task without labeled data. The radiology report contains many sections, including clinical history, the description of how the exam was done, the findings section, which cover what the radiologist saw in each part of the body. Finally, there's an impression or a summary section summarizing the radiologist's observations. Observations can range from the most non-specific, like highlighting visual features on an image, to the most specific, like making a disease diagnosis.